morning, students. Today I would like to continue with the same story and chapter from the Hornbill, and the title of the story is Discovering Tut. The saga continues from the Hornbill. In my first part of the video, I told you about the what is the story is about. Let me tell you once again. The story is about the Egyptian king, and the name of that king is Tut. About discovering is how and when he was dead, and what is the procedure was taken to find out uh, the thing of the mystery of his life and death by recreating a forensic reconstruction. Okay, so let's start with this line by line explanation. So I have stopped here. Here I told you about that once it was done by the Carter. That I told you that this is the person that Carter, who is that is a British archaeologist, and who had first discovered this tomb of this Tut tombs in 1922, and that time he did some investigations on this tomb or the mummy of this Tut mummy. And what was that? After that, he found so many things in the mummy. Say, I told you that they were believing in after death, after the death after life. So that they were believing in that. So there are so many essential things he found in the mummy. So we stopped here. After months of carefully recording the pharaoh funerary treasure, Carton began investigating his three-nested coffin, opening the first. I think I have done this. So let's start. So he was doing the this discovery of the this coffin, and when he was doing that, no amount of legitimate force would move them. Carter wrote later what was to be done. Okay, यहाँ पे he said that कि जो पूरा उसका टूट की जो पूरी मम्मी थी वो कैसी थी, उसमें कौन सा था, उसमें वहां पे बहुत सारी ऑलिव लीव्स थी, राइट? ऑलिव लीव्स व्हेन ही ओपनड इट, वाइल्ड सेलेरी, लोटस पेटल एंड कॉर्नफ्लावर. Now from this it can be think that this can be the month of April or March, because this type of flowers can be seen in March and April. So when he opened the mummy, that he found this type of flowers, so it can be clear or it can be discovered that it can be the March or April month, the death of the tooth. Now, uh, okay, the ritual resin. Resins had hardened. Resin means rituals. Rituals means here resin used in the ceremony of mummification. जो भी mummification के लिए जो rituals किए जाते हैं, that he was talking about, and to the bottom of his solid gold coffin, and उसका पूरा coffin था, that is gold coffin. No amount of legitimate force could move them. Means not, nobody can move that mummy. कार्टर wrote later what was to be done. Okay, उसने बाद में लिखा कि उसने क्या क्या किया था when he opened this and when he discovered this tomb or this mummy. The sun can beat down like a hammer this far south in Egypt, and Carter tried to use it to loosen the resin. Right now here that you can see that the mummy is full of ornaments and gold, and it is very solid gold, so it can be melted in the sunshine, in the heat of the sun. So he used the heat of the sun for several hours. Now let me tell you something about this map. Here you can see the map. This is the Egypt and Valley of King. It is called Valley of King. Why? Because there are so many tombs were there, and it is called the Valley of Kings. Right? यहाँ पे बहुत सारी kings की tomb रखी गई है. He set the mummy outside in blessed sunshine that heated it to 149 degrees Fahrenheit. right? उसने क्या किया? He put the mummy outside the sun so that it can be melted and he can remove everything. Nothing budged. Budged means moved or shifted. A slight movement means that you cannot that in that the gold was so solid that nothing was moved. He reported with scientific detachment that he consolidated material had to be sizzled away from beneath the limbs and trunk before it was possible to raise the king's remains. Right, sizzles away to cut something with sizzle. Right. So he had also, because he had given the report that what he had did while his discovery and while doing the recording of this mummy, that he wrote that there is from beneath the limbs and trunk before it was possible to reach the king's remains. Now it is very impossible to detach that mummy from that gold. So उसने थोड़ा कट भी किया था, so that he had written that in his report. In his defense, Carter really had little choice, because Carter was saying that in his defense why he did it. He did it because उसने थोड़ा limb cut किया था, तो he said that why he did it because there is no other choice with him. If he hadn't cut the mummy free, thieves most certainly would have circumvented the guards and ripped it apart to remove the gold. Okay, so in his defense, Carter said that I did it because if I didn't do this, the other means the other thief or maybe someone else who can came and can remove the gold by any means. Circumvent is find a way around. He can also find a way. Thieves would have found a way to tackle and guard and remove the gold from the tomb. To get that gold from the mummy, they can use any ways to get that ornaments. So he said that for for that reason, I have removed all the golds and all the things from that tomb. In Tut's time, the royals were fabulously wealthy and they thought or hoped they could take their riches with them. Now they were thinking that about, now I told you earlier that they were believing in after life after death. So they said that, and they were very wealthy and rich. So they put all their essential things in the tomb, which can be used after life, after death, after life, for his journey to the great beyond, right? उसके बाद जो जर्नी चालू होगी डेथ के बाद, उसमें वो सब सारी चीजें लगेगी. That's why they are thinking that we have to put it in a mummy. King Tut was lavished with glittering goods, precious collar, inlaid necklace and bracelets, rings, amulet, a ceremonial apron, sandals, okay, threads for his fingers and toes, and now iconic inner coffin and mask, all of pure gold. Now, so many things were that. Here you can see that precious collar, then after inlaid decorative pattern on a surface. जो necklace का जो surface होता है, that a very decorative necklace and bracelets, rings, amulets means very ornaments, बहुत सारी ornaments होती है वो. सेरेमोनियल एप्रोन, जो बॉडी के ऊपर जो गारमेंट पहनाते हैं, दैट इज एप्रोन, उसको पीछे से टाइट करते हैं, दैट क्लोथ. सैंडल्स, उसके सैंडल्स से शर्ट में क्लोज फिटिंग कवर, उसको कवर करना है फॉर हिज फिंगर्स एंड टोज, उसके फिंगर को भी कवर किया था. एंड नाउ आइकॉनिक, और उसके ऊपर जो आइकॉनिक विच इज अ वेरी सिंबॉलिक कॉफिन एंड मास्क, all of pure. These all things are in gold plated, right? To separate Tut from his adornment means ornament, Carter's man removed the mammut's head and severed nearly every major point. Now you just imagine that to find out and to remove their ornaments from that body, that mummy, that the Carter had removed mummy's head and several other parts. or major joint to remove, because if he wants to remove the neck, sorry, any bracelet, then he removed the this part joints, and he removed that that ornament. So this type he did this, means you can say that he did separation of the mummy. Once they had finished, they resembled the remains on a layer of sand in a wooden box with paneling that concealed the damage. The bed were tooth was now red. Now, after doing this, after removing that all the things by cutting the joints, that he the workers and he had assembled the body on a hard coffin, right? एक wooden box था, on a wooden box on a layer of sand. Sand के ऊपर layer बनाया, sand का layer, and in that wooden box, sand के layer पर they have assembled the mummy, and with paneling that concealed the damage, and that damage was hidden, hide, that can be hide with the sand, so that nobody can see that कि ये टूटा हुआ है. So they have arranged or assembled like that, and from that time this was the bed where Toot was now resting, and right now this was the sand bed where the mummy, the Toot was resting. Archaeologists has changed substantially in intervening decades, focusing less on treasure and more on fascinating details of life and intriguing mysteries of death. Now, here the writer is talking about the motto of archaeology. Now, before that, they were focusing on the treasure. When they are searching or discovering this, they are searching and searching for treasure and other material things. But right now, in modern era, they are not focusing on this thing, but they are fascinating by these things about the details of life, intriguing, intriguing mysteries about the mysteries of the day. Now, when the time is changed, now people's mindset and the discoveries to how the setting of discovery is also changed. It also uses more sophisticated tools, including medical technology. Now, in comparison of this before and now, there are so many sophisticated tools, and there are so many discoveries in medical technology also. In 1968, more than 40 years after Carter's discovery, now the Carters had discovered this, and then after the 40 years of this discovery, an anatomy professor x-rayed the mummy and revealed a startling fact. Beneath the resin that cakes his chest, his breastbone and front ribs are missing. Now, after the discovery of Carter's 40 years discovery, again with the new technology, the anatomy professor, उसने क्या किया? He x-rayed the mummy and find out the truth. That is the broken and something, the chest and the breastbone and the ribs. These things are missing in the these things are missing in the mummy. Today, diagnostic imaging can be done with computed tomography or CT, by which hundreds of X-rays in cross section are put together like slices of bread to create a three-dimensional virtual body. I told you that what is CT scan? CT scan is a three-dimensional CT scan, that is a three-dimensional scan in which you can find very minor and minor things, and you can find anything about your internal organs, and anything little thing you can have, image you can have. And computed tomography means also called a CT scan, उसको CT scan बोलते हैं. It is a three-dimensional scan of body with the help of X-rays in cross section together. वो भी उसने start किया to find out the details of that mummy. what more would a CT scan reveal of tooth than the X-ray? Okay, now CT scan can give you the more details than the X-ray, and could it answer two of the biggest questions still lingering about him? How did he die, and how old he was when at the time of his death? Now, from the reason behind doing this CT scan is that to find out the answer of how did he write, how is the what is the reason, and how old when he was, means when he was died. To get the answer of these things, they started doing this CT scan by using this modern technology. King Tut's demise was a big event, and even by royal standards, he was the last of his family line, and his funeral was the death rattle of dynasty. But okay, यहाँ पे why it is very important, because the King Tut is the last heir, or you can see that he's the last successor of his family, and his funeral and death rattle. Death rattle means gurgling sound produced in the throat of a person who is about to die, right? So that was the last day or last line that in the family of Tut family. But the particular of his passing away and his aftermath are unclear. Aftermath means the after effect or the events which was done after the death of this Tut. These particulars are unclear to anybody, because nobody was knowing about this the death and about the mystery, because it's just a mystery for people that nobody knowing about the reality and what was happened in the past. Amenhotep III, Tut's father or grandfather, was a powerful pharaoh who ruled for almost 4 decades at the height of the 18th dynasty's golden age. Now here, this is the history of the Tut's family. That Tut's father, Amenhotep, who is the third and who was a powerful ruler. Pharaoh means that I told you earlier, that is the ruler, or you can say that in ancient English they were talking when it is a king as a known as a pharaoh pharaoh के नाम से. Then his son, उसके बाद का son, उसका son क्या है, Amenhotep IV succeeded. उसके बाद वो आया, initiated one of the strongest period in the history of ancient Egypt. Now here, this period of this Amenhotep IV was the strongest, strangest period, because there are so many changes was found in this period, and the new pharaoh promoted the worship of Aten, the sun disk. Now this time, this new pharaoh means this new king, the fourth Amenhotep, they had started to worshipping the Aten, that is the goddess, that the god Aten, and who is the name, the sun disk, changed his name to Akhenaten, right, or servant of the Aten, और उसने अपना नाम भी चेंज कर दिया, and उसने अपना नाम दिया Akhenaten, and the meaning of that is the servant of Aten, and moved the religious capital from the old city of Theb to the new city of Akhetanen, right? उसने अपना पूरा कैपिटल भी चेंज किया, फ्रॉम ओल्ड सिटी टू न्यू सिटी पे वो आ गया. उसने अपना नाम भी चेंज कर दिया. सो दैट वाज अ वेरी यूनिक ईयर एंड वेरी यूनिक ईयर, strangest rule during this son, known now as Amarna. Now this city is also known as Amarna. He further shocked the country by attacking Amun. Now here one another a major god, smashing his image and closing his temples. Now उसने he was against of this god, and Amun god जो major god था, he was believing in this Aten, and that's why he was attacking other country by smashing the image of this god and temple. It must have been a horrific time, and it was really very horrific time. See Ray Johnson. Here Ray Johnson is the director of the University of Chicago Research in Center in Luxor, and उसने कहा था The family that had ruled for centuries was coming to end, and the Akhenaten went a little wacky. Now यहाँ पे उसका पूरा फैमिली का जो हिस्ट्री था खत्म होता है, because this son was really wacky. Wacky means very amused and very odd type of ruling was that. After Akhenaten's death, the mysterious ruler named Semen Khakare appeared briefly and excited with hardly a trace, existed with hardly a trace. उसके बाद ये आया रूलर और वो भी थोड़े टाइम के बाद चला गया. And then a very young Tutankhaten, that is Howard Tut, जिसके बारे में हम अभी बात कर रहे हैं, वो आया, took the throne. उसने throne ली. King Tut as he widely known today. अभी वो King Tut के नाम से जाना जाता है. The boy king soon changed his name to Tutankhamun, living image of Amun. Now he was believing in image of Amun, so he also changed his name and oversaw a restoration of the old ways. और उससे पीछे की जो पहले की जो उसने चेंज किया था पहले किंग ने, उसको वापस वो लाता है. He reigned for about 9 years, and then died unexpectedly. 9 years he ruled over the city, and without any unexpectedly, without any notice, he was died. So that was the mystery that right now the people are finding, regardless of his fame and the speculation about his fate. Tut is one mummy among many in Egypt. How many? No one knows. There are so many mummies in the Egypt, and उसमें से this is very known mummy is that Tut's mummy. The Egyptian mummy project, which began in inventory in late 2003, has recorded almost 600 so far and still counting. Now you just imagine that this project to count the mummy project, Egyptian mummy project, which was started in 2003, and they have discovered 600, that time recorded 600 mummies, and now still they are counting, so we don't have the proper number. The next phase can उसके बाद after finding the mummy, the next step is scanning the mummy with portable CT scan machine donated by the National Geographic Society and Siemens its manufacturer, right? So ये CT scan एक था जो ये project को दिया गया है, which is given by the National Geographic Society and Siemens उसका manufacturer था. Okay. Now, King Tut is one of the first mummies to be scanned, in that as in life, moving regally ahead of his countrymen. Now, why this is important? Because when they have started the project, the first scan was done on the Tut's mummy. So, that's why this is very important. A CT scan machine scanned the mummy head to toe, creating 1700 digital X-ray images in cross sections. Okay, so here how this CT scan machine is working. So उसका cross sections में वो X-rays लेता है. Tut's head scanned in 0.62 millimeter, sliced to register his intricate structure. Takes any detail in the resulting image. Now, okay. So this machine is used to find out each and every details of the organ of that mummy. With Tut's entire body similarly record a team of specialists in now to have a record. They have made one team, and in that team there is a specialist in radiology, forensics. Forensics means the people who are working on a crime to find out the mystery of the crime. Anatomy means working on animals and humans. जो anatomy जो branch आती है animals और living की body structure पे जो काम करता है वो begin to probe the secrets that the winged goddesses of a gilded burial shrine protected for so long. Now here they have also find one thing that ओसिस नाम की जो गॉडेस थी, that who is protecting this mummy, they are shrine protected for, shrine means holy place, जो holy place आता है उसको बोलते हैं. So this holy place was uh, uh, protected by the Orsis, that is the goddess of after death. The night of the scan, workmen carried Toad from the tomb in his walk like a pal. Sorry. They climbed a ramp and flight of stairs into swirling sand outside, then rose and hydraulic lift into the trailer that held the scanner. Now that night, जब उसकी टोप खोली गई थी, that night workmen जो काम कर रहे थे वो टूट की टोप को बॉडी को लेके जा रहे थे. एंड swirling means to spin or twist. Okay. जब वी नो दैट कार्टन ने जो पूरी बॉडी सैंड पे लगाई थी, तो वो पूरी ट्विस्ट हो गई थी, मूव हो गई थी, सैंड आउट सैंड की जो है वहां से मूव हो गई. दे रोज ऑन अ हाइड्रोलिक लिफ्ट. हाइड्रोलिक लिफ्ट मींस अ लिफ्ट दैट यूजेस अ मशीन टू लिफ्ट और मूव हैवी ऑब्जेक्ट विद अ प्रेशर. उससे वो उसको पुल किया गया था. लिफ्ट इनटू द ट्रेलर दैट हैज द स्कैनर. जहाँ पे जो स्कैनर था वहां पे वो पूरी मम्मी को लेके जा रहे थे, टोम को लेके जा रहे थे, तो उसके लिए ये हाइड्रोलिक मशीन का यूज किया गया था. 20 मिनट्स लेटर टू मैन इमर्ज. अभी 20 मिनट्स हुए थे, देन टू मैन केम देयर एंड स्प्रिंटेड मींस रैन एट अ हाई स्पीड. बहुत भाग के आए और फॉर एन ऑफिस नियर बाय एंड रिटर्न विद अ पेयर ऑफ व्हाइट प्लास्टिक फैंस. राइट, प्लास्टिक जो फैंस आते हैं उसके साथ वो वापस गए. दो वर्कमैन आए. द $1 million स्कैनर had quite because of had quit because of sand in a cooler fan. Right now, Carter had put that mummy on a sand so that mummy went in the bones of that Toot's body. So when they went in a scanner, that scanner quit because there is a sand in a cooler fan. Because of sand, cooler fan में जो sand चले गए इसके लिए. Curse of the pharaoh, joked a guard nervously. Now the Egyptian guard who is standing outside, he said that this is the curse of pharaoh. Pharaoh means the king. King का curse है because they believe in the life after death. Eventually, the substitute fans work were enough to finish the procedure. जो बाकी के जो लोग थे उन्होंने they have finished the work. After checking that no data had been lost, the technician turned Toot over to the workman who carried him back to the. After checking everything, they found that there is nothing lost, everything is fine. So they told the workman to put the that mummy to the tomb bag. Less than 3 hours after he was removed from his coffin, 3 hours he was not in his coffin, the pharaoh again rested in peace where the funerary priest had laid him so long again. After 3 hours, again the pharaoh means the king, rested in peace in the same place with the funerary priest where when the funerary priest had laid him. जब ये पूरी funerary rituals किए थे जैसे वैसे वो पीस में सो गए. Back in the trailer, a technician pulled up astonished image of Tooth on a computer screen. और उसके बाद जो कंप्यूटर स्क्रीन पे उन्होंने जो हमारा जो टेक्नीशियन थे उन्होंने बहुत सारी सिटी स्कैन्स की फोटोज निकाली. A grey hat took shape from a scattering of pixels. Pixels means you know that छोटे छोटे चीजों को इकट्ठा करके पूरी इमेज बनाते हैं. The technician spun and tilted it in every direction. जो टेक्नीशियन था उसने पूरी डायरेक्शन पे घुमा के टिल्ट करके पूरा एक फेस बनाया, पूरा पिक्चर बनाया. Neck vertebrae appeared as clearly as in an anatomy class. It's just like anatomy class में जैसे आपको दिखता है, right? वैसे ही पिक्चर आपको यहाँ पे मम्मी का दिखने लगा. Other images revealed a hand, several views of rib cage, transaction of the skull means they have all the photos of all the mummy, all the body parts or organs, but for now the pressure was off. now अभी जो पूरा प्रेशर था वो अभी खत्म हो गया है. सिटिंग बैक इन हिज चेयर जही हस was smile. जो ये डिस्कवरी करवा रहे थे that he was smile and very smiling and sitting very calmly, visibly believing that nothing has gone seriously wrong. कुछ भी गलत नहीं हुआ. So he was very quiet and very relief he feel that. I did sleep last night, not for a second. He said he was not sleeping from last night. I was so worried. He was very worried, but now I think I will go and sleep. मैं जाके सो जाऊंगा. मैं इसकी बात करती हूँ यहाँ पे. So this is the king tomb picture and this is the goddess Orsis. मैं आगे बाद में दिखाती हूँ जो भी वो आएगा. Okay. King Tut with Osiris, the goddess of the aftermath, जो उसके साथ उसका फोटो एक था जो वहां पे लगाया था. By the time we left the trailer, descending metal steps to the sandy ground, the wind had stopped. Now, when the tomb was open, I told you that in the beginning there was a changes in the atmosphere and in the weather also. But after when the tomb was closed and he was the Tut was on the in the coffin. Now you can see the weather was the wind had stopped, the winter air, there is a cold air and silence was there like death itself. आपको जैसे लग रहा है कि the पूरी valley of death is just like it's a valley of death, valley of departed, जहाँ पे आपको death की feeling आएगी और the air is also saying about death. Just above the entrance to Tut's tomb stood Orion. Orion means the constellations that ancient Egyptians knew as a sort of constellation. Constellations means what? That the constellation means the group of stars, and that group of stars is known as the soul of Osiris. वो उसकी टूब के पूरे ऊपर there is one constellation. There is one constellation, and that constellation, the Egyptians were knowing that this constellation is the soul of Orsis, the goddess of afterlife, and watching over the boy king. That who is protecting the king of Tut, the king Tut from many years, and they found this constellation on the above of the tomb. I hope you understand if this the source is taken from this is the reality, this is nothing a story. This real story that is taken from National Geography volume number 2.7 note number 6 में से लिया गया है. It's very interesting story. I really like it. I learned so many things about mummies which I don't know before, and you also come to know some of the information. Please prepare a notebook and write down the question answer so that you can understand it very properly. Thank you so much.